It was a dusty Saturday morning when the clang of tools and the whir of engines echoed through a small garage on the edge of town. Inside, sweat beaded on 32-year-old Rayen's brow as he worked under the hood of an aging sedan. Grease stained his calloused hands, and his blue coveralls bore the wear and tear of 1,000 repairs. Life hadn't exactly been kind to Rayen, but he had never let that stop him from moving forward. He was known around the neighborhood for two things: being a skilled mechanic and being a quiet, kind soul who kept mostly to himself. After losing both his parents young and growing up in the foster system, Rayen had learned to rely on grit and hard work. Relationships? Family? Those were luxuries he didn't believe he was meant for. His world was made up of metal, motors, and oil, and he had made peace with that. That morning, as Rayen wiped his hands and stepped outside to take a break, a small voice broke the monotony. "Excuse me, sir, my bike is broken. The chain fell off, and I don't know how to fix it." He turned to find a little girl, no older than 8, standing beside a bright purple bicycle. Her helmet sat crooked on her head, and her elbows were scraped slightly, probably from a fall. She looked both nervous and determined, like she had tried to fix it herself before coming to him. Rayen knelt down with a faint smile. "You tried fixing it on your own?" She nodded proudly. "I watched a video, but the chain got stuck. My mom told me not to bother strangers, but I saw you helping the taxi man yesterday, so I thought maybe." He chuckled softly. "All right. But only if you help me fix it." Her eyes lit up. "Really? You'll teach me?" And so, in front of that humble garage, Rayen began showing her how to reattach the chain, clean the gears, and test the brakes. She introduced herself as Zoe, and she asked a million questions, most of which she patiently answered. What started as a 10-minute fix turned into nearly an hour of lessons and laughter. She even got grease on her face, much to her delight. What Rayen didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that across the street, a sleek black SUV had pulled up minutes earlier. And inside, watching quietly through the tinted window, was Zoe's mother, Elena Clark. Elena wasn't just Zoe's mom, she was the CEO of Clark Tech Solutions, a woman known in the corporate world as fierce, efficient, and impossible to impress. She was in town for a surprise visit to check on a new community initiative, and Zoe had begged to bring her bike. When Zoe rode off ahead, Elena followed slowly in the car until she saw her daughter walk into the garage. She parked quietly and waited, expecting to step at any moment to protect her child. But then she saw something unexpected. She saw Rayen kneel to her daughter's level, not with impatience or annoyance, but with sincere kindness. She saw him smile, teach, and encourage. No condescension. No brushing her off. Just patience and warmth. And she saw Zoe beam in a way Elena hadn't seen in weeks. Elena had spent so much time behind glass conference room walls that she had almost forgotten what genuine connection looked like. For 20 minutes, she simply watched, moved by the simple, human moment unfolding in front of her. Later, when Zoe finally waved goodbye to Rayen and skipped back to the car, Elena stepped out. "Excuse me," she called out. Rayen, mid-turn back into the garage, stopped. He was startled to see a sharply dressed woman crossing the street toward him, heels clicking against the pavement. She looked completely out of place near his greasy garage. "Yes, ma'am," he asked cautiously. She extended her hand. "Elena Clark. I wanted to thank you for helping my daughter." He hesitated before shaking her hand. "It was no trouble. She's a curious kid. Smart, too." Elena nodded slowly. "Not everyone would have taken the time to teach her. You didn't know who she was. Or who I am. But you did it anyway." Rayen shrugged. Didn't matter who she was. She needed help. There was a pause. Then she said something that took him completely by surprise. "I run a company that's launching a mentorship initiative for youth in underprivileged communities. We're opening a mechanical training wing. We could use someone like you. Someone who teaches with heart." Rayen blinked, stunned. "You want me to work for you?" "Not work for me," Elena smiled. "Work with me. I think you have more to offer than you realize." It was the first time in a long while someone had looked at him like that, not with pity or charity, but respect. He didn't answer right away. It was too big. Too fast. But something inside him, something that had been asleep for years, began to stir. In the weeks that followed, Rayen did join the initiative. He helped design workshops. He taught teenagers how to fix engines, tune bikes, and see potential in themselves. And every Saturday, Zoe came too, still asking questions, still getting grease on her face, still learning. But more than that, something else began to grow between him and Elena. It started with meetings, turned into shared lunches, and eventually, into something neither of them had expected. Two people from different worlds brought together by a child, a broken bike, and a quiet act of kindness. By the end of that year, Rayen wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was a mentor. A builder of futures. And for the first time in his life, he was part of a family. Moral of the story. Sometimes, the smallest acts, done with kindness and sincerity, can change the course of not just one life, but many. You never know who's watching, or what opportunity might be waiting on the other side of a simple good deed.